Okay, never too paranoid here. Attempting my simple pump installation. Going and zoom in on the website there, www.simplepump.com. I have nothing to do with them. I just bought the pump from them, but we'll see how this goes. These are the drop rods that I got. I'm sorry, the drop pipes. Here are the sucker rods that go inside. That's what moves the pump up and down. There says schedule 120 on these, so that's a pretty thick pipe. There's 5 of them for my installation, based on the distance to, or the depth to water. There's a weep hole that's going to go on the top one, and that drains the, that allows water to drain off so that it doesn't freeze. This little contraption here is probably not needed, but I thought I'd give it a try anyways. This is a length of gutter. I'm going to put the drop pipes in there and soak them in a solution of bleach or Clorox, just to sanitize them before I drop them down the well. It seems prudent. I don't think it's necessary. Should be fine, but these are a little dusty, these things, so it might help, a little peace of mind. And the other parts, I set up my little cart here to be like a portable workbench. This is the Trago well cap. I paid a little extra for that because I have the kind of well where the electrical connector is on the outside. Let's see, that's the adapter that goes that adapts the pump body, which is that, I believe. That's the pump body. Here's the handle. Here's the lever arm. This is pumping into pressure stuff. This is a pressure gauge, check valve, adapter, little bits of kit there. There's an installation tool there. These are guides for the sucker rods, so they don't flop around in the inside the drop pipe. This is a repair kit, extra gaskets and stuff. Instructions, hardware for the well cap, my tools, and this is the victim. Now they left this standing close to 3 feet out of the ground when they put the well in. I didn't have them cut it at the time because I didn't know any better. I got a price of cutting in. They wanted like $300 to cut it back. I said forget it, I'll just have a pump up high. So this is where that pump is going. Right now I'm just going to go have lunch and come back out here and attack it. It's a beautiful day out here on Fox Hill Farms for a change. It's June. It's actually my birthday today, and I decided I'd give myself the gift of water. So there you go. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back on the job now. It's now past 2 o'clock, which is typical for me. I had to go take the kid to the orthodontist, have some lunch, blah blah blah, and what do you know, before you know it, here it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've filled my contraption here with bleach water, the recommended 1 part in 24. So I took a 5-gallon bucket, Happy Homer bucket, filled it up with 5 gallons of water, added 5 ounces per gallon, so I added a total of 25 or so ounces of bleach, and that's the recommended amount in the Simple Pump manual. So they actually do recommend you wipe down the parts with a bleach solution. I decided that I was going to give them a bath instead, so we'll see how this works. Okay, at this point I've got the sucker rods, which are those fiberglass and stainless rods, resting in my bleach solution. Note that the bleach solution was only about 3 gallons or so out of the 5 that I prepared, so take that for what it's worth. Those are soaking, just figured they'd be fine in there. And I wanted to rinse out the drop pipes. So I've rinsed all those out, and the recommendation in the manual was that you should rinse them out because of debris and dirt and stuff. So I'll show you how I'm doing that. I just put the end in the bucket, and then I got the garden hose, and just a little something like that. Let it go into the bucket. What I'm trying to do here is just keep all the parts that are going to get in contact with the water. Try to keep them out of the keep them out of dirt, basically. I don't know if this step is necessary, but this is my family's drinking water, so I don't want to take any chances. All the wetted parts, including these guides right here, these spacers, I made sure those get a little treatment too. And just to show you that there is a reason to rinse this out, take a look in the bucket. I don't know if you can see all that white PVC flecks floating, but I can see it. And it doesn't belong in the drinking water. So hopefully this step is not redundant, but it looks like it's probably one of the nice things about this project is going to be getting rid of this nasty old thing. I mean, it's only 7 years old and it's cracked and it's nasty and rusty and was never really put on right in the first place. So I took off all the other, oops, put that on there. See if we can do this one-handed. Take this off all together. If I push there, if I lever there, that's gonna crack. It's cracking anyways. Just to note that that's electrical. That's what that is. It's not water. Some people think that's where the water goes in, and that wouldn't make any sense because it's above ground and it would freeze. That's just for the electrical. So, behold the wonders of my well. Okay, first little snag. Here the wires are going back into the house through that conduit down there. They're going down to the well, way down there. Problem is, they pass through this gasket and this ring. And I thought, because of this crack here, that I was going to be able to just smash this maybe and free this up. I don't really like to do destructive things in case I have to back this off. That means I would have to cut this gasket as well. And I got no backup plan that way. So, what I'm going to have to do is head out to my nearby Lowe's, a couple minutes away, get some of these sealers, these connectors with the epoxy seal, so we can make a good watertight connection, break these connections, and make new connections. Now the power is already off in the house. I took the breaker, I stripped the breaker, turned off the switch for the pump, and took the control panel with the capacitor start off of the wall, so that there's no chance of this starting. Unfortunately, the kids and my wife are in the house. I'm probably going to need the water while I'm away, so I got to go turn it back on. Got to remember to turn it back off. I don't want any surprises. Be right back. Okay, stupid me is back. Here's why I'm stupid. I undid the connections here, and this is obviously, color to color. It's going to match up. What I neglected to take into account was the fact that I could reuse these wire nuts. So I got the wire nuts that I had before. I can use them again. I thought they had some sort of epoxy potting or something like that in them. What I got was these things, Drycon, and I don't know if you can see on this, but there's a line here for 2 to 3 number 10 wires. So this connector is rated for 2 to 3 number 10 wires. I think I'm going to use these anyways because it seems to make more sense. Can't get much more of a wet location than down a well, although not at all in the wet part of the well. It seems to make sense. So I think I'm going to use these and keep the old ones in reserve. The other thing I want to pay attention to is the fact that anything that I drop down that hole might as well be on the moon for as accessible as it's going to be. So I got to be really careful. Tools, parts, anything I don't want to ever not see again, I don't want to drop down there. Plus there's things that you just don't want at the bottom of a well. So keep that in mind. A little nerve-wracking. This bit, obviously I've disconnected the power. If you're at all nervous about doing electrical work, especially on big fat wires, 240 volt wires, a lot of current here, a lot of potential to kill you. If you're at all nervous about this, don't do this. Get a well guy to do it. I wouldn't recommend it if you're nervous. But I've been doing this kind of stuff all my life, so I'm pretty good with it. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got everything freed up. That went pretty well. One little problem here, though. When I put this on, this is the ring for the bottom flange for the well cap. This is a Trago well cap. I paid extra for this. It's a little tight. That might be because of when this was cut off with a torch. Back when it was installed, there's some slag and stuff there. Plus the inside of this is a little rough. So I'm gonna try filing that down. See, because I don't have a die grinder. But it might be a good excuse to go get one. So we'll see how this goes. All right, I've made my my modifications to this ring. Bug in my hair, sorry about that. And I also polish that up a little bit with a file and with a little circular sander drill attachment. So I thought maybe the right way to do this, I did the same thing here. I used this little circular attachment and kind of ground this down. It was a little rough in here. This was a little rough. The right way to do this would have been to put it on a lathe and turn it off a few thousandths. Would have been a great excuse to go buy a turret lathe. Nice to have around, but probably not going to happen. So let's see how I did. Oops, I got that backwards. Let's see if she's going to go on. Well, looks like it's going to go without forcing it too much. There we go. That should be fine. I don't want to force that down too much because that's just cast aluminum, and that's probably not going to last very long if we pound on it. So we'll see how this goes from here. Okay, this is working out pretty well so far. I've got the, I'm going to take this off, that's a compression ring. I've got this very thick gasket, foam gasket that's down on the flange, and everything's good there. I drove it down a little bit at a time with a dead blow hammer, so it was nice and nice and gentle. Did it circularly, so went down evenly, didn't get cocked and go wonky on me. And it seems to be down far enough. The wires down to the well are all set. This compression ring will fit over the top like that. The cap will go over that, and everything's good. I can make the electrical connections now and tidy this up here, and everything will be good. I'll be ready to start sending this pump down the well. So we'll see what it looks like in a second. Here's all my connections made. The new connectors, you can see there's some sort of gooey stuff. Looks like silicone caulking or something like that. I don't really know what it is, but I'm pretty darn sure I don't want to drink it. So, a little Scotch 33 plus, a couple wraps of that in the same direction that you tighten the nut, so it doesn't loosen the nut like it did for one of them. I had to redo it. And you should be all good there. And wouldn't you know it, it's starting to rain. Alright, this is the cap assembled. The well is back on. I turned the power back on. It's perfectly operational. The only thing that's different, really, is the fact that there's a big hole in this. And that's where the whole pump string is going to go down. But this is all tightened up. I did this in a circular pattern, so you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just keep going around until this snugged up. See that gasket, that big thick neoprene gasket crushed down nicely? There's some set screws to hold this bottom flange to the casing. Everything is nice and tight. And you can see in there, there's an O-ring in there. That is going to be the weather seal. So no chance any groundwater, rainwater, anything getting down in here. Even this slot here, this O-ring is sealing against that. So the pipe is going to go right up against that as the well string or the pump string goes down that hole. This tool goes on there, and that is what holds each section up. The flange, the threaded flange, is going to rest on that, and it's going to prevent it from dropping all the way to the bottom of the well until we get all the pieces on, and we'll have a pump down to the bottom of the well. Over here, this is the business end. This is the actual pump. That's what's going to be all the way down at the bottom. We got this in the chlorine solution. Drain that off. It's got a ball check valve down that end. And here at this end is the sucker rod, and the water comes right up around the sucker rod. And that's how we do it. This threaded connection here is where the drop pipe is going to go. Sucker rods will go on here. You just drop it down in 10-foot sections, and it's just that simple. Now here's the bottom section of drop pipe. This is the sucker rod, and this is the pump. I've got Teflon tape, 3 wraps of Teflon tape along the, and actually looking at it, it's going the wrong way. It's got to go the other way. So forget about it. Here we are, ready to drop this pump down. You see I've already partially inserted the pump into the well cap, the hole in the well cap. It's a tight fit. I can't really push it down with one hand. This is actually recommended as a 2-person job. I'm going to see what happens when I do it as a one-person job. This is the safety tool. You'll see when this gets all the way down that there's a bell at the top that the safety tool will prevent the pipe string from dropping down. Still going to be a little bit nerve-wracking because, like I said, might as well be on the moon if it drops down there. So let's see if I can do this while filming it. Oh, that's not bad. It's going down. It's got a little lubrication from the bleach solution. Hopefully my hand is not too well lubricated, because once it clears that, it's going to slide nice and easy. Alright, you got the idea. I'm going to do this with two hands. Well, yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking because as soon as that pump cleared, it really wanted to drop, and it was kind of slippery, and I was worried that when I finally got it down to the safety tool that maybe the safety tool wasn't the right dimension or something was going to go wrong. But as you can see, it's standing there. Sucker rod standing proud here. Now that's just the process of attaching a new sucker rod, a bushing to keep this from rattling around in the pipe, and then putting a drop pipe over it. Take the tool out, put the tool back, drop it down another section to the flange, do that 5 times, and we're done. All right, I've got now 5 sections down the hole, and there's the last section. My first section, I came up with a little problem. This cherry tree here, if you can see, is absolutely crawling with ants. And every time the sucker rod would hit the branch that was up there, I would get a little shower of ants who were not too happy with me and were biting and generally unpleasant. So I had to take a little time out to do some pruning. This is the safety tool. I decided to throw an extra vice grip on there just in case. It's only lightly squeezing on that, but by the time you've got 5 rods down there, you've got quite a bit of weight, and I just wanted to make sure. It's just, you know, belt and suspenders sort of thing. So this is the last length. You see there's the weep hole. That's going to be about 48 inches below the surface, so that's going to be plenty far enough down to prevent freezing. So what's going to happen is the water is going to drip out slowly through that hole down to that level, so there'll be water down here where it won't freeze, and it will be clear up above that. That's the idea. So we're going to drop this last length down and then put the pump body on, but after I eat my pizza for dinner. I'm going to foolishly try to do this one-handed here. Let's see what we can do. Maggie, can you pull that tool out? That little tool there? Okay, just pull it out. Pull it straight out. Now hold on to it. Now put it back. Okay? Thank you, lovely assistant. Now match it up with those holes. Lift it up so it matches up. See, there's the holes and there's the screw heads, or the cap screws. Yeah, match it all up. Perfect. All right, good job. Whoa, yeah, there's a lot of friction there. You gonna help? Thank you, sweetie. Whoa, there goes the weep hole. All right, I gotta stop this so I can do this without dropping the whole pipe string. So here I am ready to do the last steps. Put the pump body on. This is the drive rod. But then I noticed when I picked up the pump body that I somehow managed to make the necessary blood sacrifice for any successful project. So I gotta go clean that up first, because I don't want to have blood on the inside of the pump. All right, I just did the last bit here, or one of the last bits, putting the pump body on, and I hit something, and I noticed it's like a little tuning fork. That's kind of cool.
Want to get a better angle?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, I thought that was fun. So here we are the next day. This is the completed installation. It is up pretty high. My son and I are the only ones who can actually pump this now, because once you're at the full stroke, you're 7 feet off the ground there. But we're going to have to build some sort of pump platform or something like that, so the vertically challenged members of the house can still pump this. It's actually really easy. I mean, it's the amount of effort that you have to put into it is practically nothing to get pumping. It's got a prime, so it's practically no effort to get the water out. It's the reach is the problem we're going to have to take care of, and that's not the fault of the pump. That's the fault of the guy who left that who would actually be me. I bought the pressure, or pumping into pressure kit, check valve, garden hose adapter, and pressure gauge. The idea is that you can hook up a food grade garden hose, so that would be the blue and white ones you can get at Walmart in the RV section. Hook that up, run it out to the house, just connect it to your outside faucet connector, your spigot. Assumption is that the power's off, so your submersible pump is not working, but the pressure reading you'll get here is going to represent the pressure inside the house. The check valve will keep water from going back down into the well, and then what you do is you pump the well, and you pump until you get to the pressure you want. Now generally the submersible pump that I have will when it's running and when it finally stops running, we'll get to 60 psi, and between 60 and 40 psi is where the range is. When the pressure drops below 40 psi, the pressure switch on the submersible pump kicks on, and then the water comes up and pressurizes the tank in the basement until it gets up to 60, where it shuts off. So basically the idea is you're going to send someone out here, you want to take a shower, you send one of your minions out to pump the well. You keep pumping until this gets up to 60 psi, and you stop, and then you sit there and watch it, and when it gets to 40, pump it again. And whoever's taking a shower doesn't know any different. It's just like the submersible pump is running. The obvious problems with this are, first of all, you got to have someone do that. That sounds like a perfect job for a 12-year-old boy. But eventually 12-year-old boy has to take a shower, so somebody's going to have to do it, and I'm the only one who can reach the pump, so I guess that's my problem. This can be motorized. There's a motor kit for this, and it runs off of 12 volts, so you could run it off of solar, you could run it off of 12-volt battery, inverter, all that whole thing. The other problem with this is obviously all of this is above ground and is subject to freezing, and this hose is going to be above ground as well and running on the surface of the ground. So that's a problem. There's ways around that. You can put a frost-free hydrant in, put it in the ground here, connect to that. The hydrant would run underground. I could run a line underground. I could dig down here and tap into the existing line that goes into the house. There's a lot of things I could do. But for now, I've got a way to pump the well. I don't have to worry about there's one less thing I have to worry about. I can actually get my water out of my well in an off-grid situation. So hope you enjoyed this, hope it was informative, and maybe you can try it yourself. Wasn't that difficult. Thanks.